What's going on, everybody? I'm John.
And I'm Dennison.
And we're doing things a little bit different this week. We're going to try a little bit new format. It's just something we wanted to give a shot. We're going to try tightening things up. We're still going to catch up. We're still going to talk about training topics, but we just, want to make it a little bit tighter, a little bit more compact, a little bit more succinct, get straight to the point for you guys so you guys can hear the things you want to hear and, go on about your day and whatnot. So we're going to try that. Today, we're obviously going to catch up because that is the name of the show. We're going to talk about Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs, the former Chiefs running back, everything going on surrounding that. And then we're going to talk about Disney and why are there no original movie ideas coming out? So that's all coming up. Yeah, that's all coming up on the catch up. And the catch up starts right now.
So, bro, what's been going on with you, man? I mean, I've been having a pretty interesting week. What about you, man? What's been going on with you?
Well, a lot. It's the holiday season. it's so much. And actually, just last night I had a friend of mine be like, man, I was telling another friend, John is just putting in work right now. And I have been. It's been rewarding. It's been great. And pretty much so many things just getting off the ground level. We talked about them on here before. Obviously this podcast is starting to kind of get into a groove, which is great. So much fun. And then, the gigs and work and all this stuff. It's been so many things. But this week I've kind of taken it easy. And the family and I are going to go to Las Vegas this next week. And have a week there. So it'll be nice, just to get away. And I haven't been to Las Vegas since I was like 14. So it's going to be a totally different experience for me,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But
that's a really experience in general.
No.
Most people don't get a chance to even go to Las Vegas at all. So, that's really amazing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. It'll be cool. And honestly, I'm actually pretty well versed in the casinos now. Not that I've been gambling or anything, but my love for music has taken me to going to casinos to watch these events. I don't know why, but man, just the last couple of concerts I've been to have both been at casinos. So the most recent one I went to was Miles Kennedy. Actually, I gotta tell you about this, man, because we haven't talked about this yet.
I know. I've been waiting to hear about this.
Yeah. So this was a wild weekend. So first of all, went to see my favorite music artist in the world, Miles Kennedy, lead singer of Alter Bridge, lead singer of Slash's solo band. Just a fantastically talented band. I've taken Devon, I've taken 2 other females, like to see either Slash or Alter Bridge or whatever. And everyone's just been blown away every single time, even if they didn't even know the music, So this was in Kansas City. This was just Miles Kennedy. Now he had his band around him. And the drummer was from the Mayfield 4, which is a band he did a while back. I love them too. All this. It was really cool. So anyway, I want to go see it so bad. And my mom's like, you know what? I'll go see it with you. I'm like, my mom, right? So I'm like, heck yeah. So she really spoiled me, like to be quite honest with you. She paid for the hotel that we stayed in overnight. She paid for a rental car. Okay. Now I made sure to, pick up the bill elsewhere. I paid for our food and the gas and the, tolls. Because of course you got tolls, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So I it evened out at the end of the day. But we went up there and she just had a blast. Like she's still talking about it. This was probably 3 weeks ago now? She's still talking about it. And
she's still raving.
Yeah, and that's usually me because you know how I am.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she's the one still just she's still talking about it. It was such a great time. So to have her there, and she loved the music, and yeah, Miles had a band around him, but he also did a lot of acoustic stuff, just him. And from the past, the videos I've shown my mom, she's loved that the most. And so for really like going over closing in on 6 years of following this guy now, and she's heard so much about him, and for her to actually see and witness why, I have this such appreciation for this artist, and then she garnered that too. It was really cool. But on top of all that, the hotel room was nice. The concert venue was great. Like, it was just I loved the lighting and the layout of it. It was kind of like the House of Blues in Dallas a little bit.
Okay.
In fact,
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, and in fact, it was called the Voodoo Lounge, which I believe is one of the rooms in the House of Blues.
I think I've heard of that before.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, this was at the Harrah's in Kansas City, Harrah's casino. Okay. So,
okay.
Yeah, and like fun side story, my mom, and this has happened my entire adult life. We're going in, showing IDs, right? And they see her, and then the guy sees my ID, and he's like, 1994. He was so confused. He thought my mom and I were together. He's like, how are you 30 years younger than her?
Like, how does that work?
I know. She defies time. But yeah, so anyway, but beyond all of that, like I said, she spoiled me with renting a car so we wouldn't have to drive my truck up there. So we tried to.
You had a great car, I heard.
Yeah, well, you saw it too, right? Okay. So.
Yeah, that's true. I saw those awesome pictures, man.
Yeah. So, okay. So we ordered a full size, right? Or that was what we had ordered. So what would you expect a full size rental car to be?
You'd probably get like a Ford Taurus or like a Ford Fusion, something like that.
Right. And Ford Taurus was literally exactly the example they gave. Okay, Ford Taurus. Ford Taurus are similar. Okay, we get there, they go, all right, well, we upgraded you guys. And honestly, I can't think of a time that we've rented a vehicle that we haven't been upgraded. But nothing like this. They go, we upgraded you guys. We're like, oh, to what? They go, that out there. It's a Dodge Charger, okay, with a 392 in it. So,
man,
yeah,
that's nice.
2018 model. Anybody that knows things about cars, this 392 model is special, for a variety of reasons. Namely, the fact that it has 485 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. And this thing just looks good. It sounds good. I mean, I'm the type of car guy, right, that I believe everyone should have the experience of, putting that foot to the floor and hearing the loud motor just rumble,
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Everybody deserves it.
I mean, everyone deserves the experience of feeling 400 horsepower at the tip of their, the tip of their toe. They should just be able to floor it and then feel that power.
Oh, I know.
Because I feel like a lot of people are used to their little I'm going to say crap boxes.
Yeah.
And you press you put your foot to the floor and that thing like just screams at you and then it moves at 5 miles an hour. I mean, that's not really fun.
No, it's not.
You need to know the true experience, the gut wrenching experience of, putting your foot to the floor and you're getting thrown back into your seat, feeling all that power rushing. It's amazing.
I know. Yeah. See, and I know I grew up with, and you rode in it several times, like the boat that we had. My dad, took every part out and rebuilt the 454 Chevy Big Block that was in there. And it had some power. But, this thing, I had never felt. I've ridden in my fair share of muscle cars and cars with high horsepower, but I had never felt anything like this with this raw power, you know? My dad and I took
Mhm.
it for a drive. Well, my dad was driving. It was kind of self-serving, you know. He he basically wanted to test drive it for himself, you know. Um, so we took it on a back road and just lit it up, and the amount I'm stuttering because it just like gave me so much emotion, like the the way they like engineered the way Dodge engineered the feeling of driving a muscle car into that car just gave me so much more respect for them. Everything. I mean, the seats and the look and both the interior and exterior look make you feel like you're driving a muscle car. And you got the shaker hood on the front of it, and it doesn't look too bulbous or
Mhm.
large from the outside, but when you're sitting inside, the way it's shaped, it looks like this big hood. And that's like the feeling you would get driving a muscle car. And then everything to like when you hit the gas from a dead stop and just nail it, the traction control will allow the rear tires to spin a little bit.
Oh
Just
man,
a little bit.
that sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
just a little bit to give you that feeling not to lose control. So um
So they pretty much engineered it to where you can feel like the muscle car era, way back when,
yeah, but
where you had all these amazing muscle cars going out or coming out, and you're getting to feel all that power, all at once. It's
yeah.
pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, but then on top of all that, still be safe at the same time.
Hmm.
And so with all of this, like it had summer performance tires on it. This was a cold weekend, much like it always is in Kansas this time of year. And and there was a potential for a wintry mix or something like that. So that was kind of concerning, but that was really what he was trying to give me some heads up on. Anyway, didn't need to worry about any of that. And I have driven for a variety of reasons, not none my own, but still driven my fair share of vehicles the past 2 years. This
Hmm.
is by far the best vehicle I've ever driven, like for an extended period of time. Um, there was so much power available to you, and that really came as a comfort. When I would have to merge onto the interstate, I never ever used more than half throttle. I don't even think I ever got up to half throttle, honestly. Eh,
Wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah. There was one time I'll say I got to 3/8 throttle, okay? And and uh and next thing I know I was doing 80. I'm like, "Oh wow, I need to back it off a little bit?" But then when you're at cruising speed on the highway, you can manipulate it to where it'll still get 22, 21, 22 miles a gallon on the highway. It's supposed to get up to 25. If I had slowed it down, if I wasn't on the turnpike, it probably would have gotten 25. Which is not
Hmm.
bad for a car like that, but it just rode so smooth, cruised so smooth. It was a very so that just added to the whole experience. I know I got wrapped up in the car, but but that wrapped up in or that kind of built up the whole experience to have that kind of a car. And the look that the toll workers would give me when they'd see it was a guy like me driving it. When I pull
Hmm.
up, it was hysterical. But then, and to have such a fantastic concert with, in my mind, the most talented guy in the music business, um, and share it all with my mom. It was awesome. So those little things like that in between all these things I've been doing, the gigs and the church stuff. Obviously, it's Christmas time, so there's a whole bunch going on. It's made it all
Hmm.
worthwhile.
Oh, I would imagine. I would really would imagine. I mean, and plus, as you said, I mean, you've been really busy with all these gigs, which is really cool. I know not everybody actually has the ability to be able to, get this opportunity to do like different gigs and stuff like that. Especially since how big you are into music and how much you've been working on making a presence for yourself as well. So that's just an amazing. Uh, an amazing achievement, if anything, because I feel like a lot of people, get to that point to where they're like, "Oh man, I wish I could do these kind of things," and here you
Yeah.
are doing them. you're actually putting yourself out there and making yourself known to where um you're making this path for yourself, which is, I think, is an amazing thing.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate
Wow.
that. And like it has been fun. I'm looking forward to getting into the like full band gigs I want to do next year, and there might be more coming on that soon. Not just with me, but with my partner in crime from the worship team, Brandon. So that's exciting. But yeah, I've learned a lot about myself and a lot, both personally and musically, from doing these, just me and an acoustic guitar. um and it's really kind of hard to explain why that's more stressful than doing it as a full band. um but when it's just you, and you have to basically convey an entire song just through your acoustic guitar, it's nerve-wracking, so
Oh, I would imagine. I would
yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. So you're right. Like a lot of people don't do it. And a lot of people say they want to. I think a lot of people think it's harder to start doing than it actually is, you know?
Hmm.
Um, cause I'm by no means like, I'm not saying I'm top tier talent, but there are people that, are still finding their place musically, and still trying to find solid ground to stand on, and they still book gigs. I've seen them book plenty of gigs around Wichita anyway. So, yeah, it's all about just getting out there and doing it. And so I've been doing it. And I'm gonna keep doing it. I know I have a gig coming up in January, and I'm waiting to hear back for one in March. But I want to get more in between all that, But right now
Hmm.
it's Christmas time, so there's a lot going on with that. But
That's true. That's true. You got a
yeah,
lot of opportunities, but at the same time, you also have a lot of, obligations that you're going to be doing, and it's, just a lot of things in general that are going
yeah,
on. Usually, the
for sure.
holidays tend to be that way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, but it's a fun time of year. It's a good time of year. But yeah, tell me about what's going on your end. What's been going on?
So far it's been pretty all right. I mean, I just got back not too long ago from the Cars and Coffee, the annual Cars and Coffee for Dallas, which was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
annual or you mean monthly?
or sorry, monthly.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was about to
um,
say.
so this was the last one for the year, and actually, apparently, it's the last one for uh, this location, which is at I think it's like the classic BMW dealership or whatever
Oh
like that.
man,
So it'll be the last one for this location. So strangely enough, I mean, and maybe not strangely enough, but um, it was a really amazing and huge turnout of cars and people. I mean, when I was on my way there, there was like a line to even get close to the show floor, I guess, in some ways you could say.
really?
Yeah, I mean, there was a gigantic line, and I saw some cars there that I never would have thought I'd seen. I mean, there were cars that, from multi-million dollar cars to cars that are super rare and would probably go on sale. Regular cars, they could be older, like muscle cars, pony cars. I mean, you would have had a blast if you were there.
Oh
Um,
man,
I
definitely.
I saw this one. What was it? I think it was a '69 Camaro.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that was it had 22 original miles on it, strangely enough.
What?
I
No
know. It
way.
it was freaking amazing, and it was in the best shape imaginable. I mean, it looked like they just got it off the factory floor, and this was just something that was taken care of, you know, to the highest regard. I mean, it looked like you just went to the dealership and grabbed that. So that was a
W-
really cool experience. I got to see a McLaren Senna, I think it's called,
Yeah.
which is one of the McLaren's new, pretty much super car. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh
uh,
yeah. I love it.
And that was an amazing experience. That looked really pretty. Funny enough, it was actually roped off. Like most of the show cars or whatever, they don't rope them off. They'll just, have them there, and it's common etiquette and courtesy that you don't touch the cars. I mean, that's just kind of what you do. You just don't
Sure,
touch them.
yeah.
But the McLaren, they roped that guy off, which is really cool.
Oh, I bet.
And interesting.
Because
And
it's how much?
I think base price, it starts at $1 million.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's base
I
price.
think that's with taxes included. I think, if I'm not mistaken, in pounds, it's like without tax, it's like $700,000, and then if you convert that over, I think it's somewhere around 800 something $1,000, and then with tax, it's $1 million. So it's a pretty special car,
Yeah.
to say the least.
I'm gonna give you some facts on that real quick. I'm gonna give you some figures.
Okay. Spit some facts.
So, looking right now, I can't find the price. But I will tell you that this thing. Okay, so let's say, what kind of car would you say gets 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds? Probably like a normal Dodge Charger, right? Like not the one I was driving, but like your average Dodge Charger would.
Oh yeah.
This gets to 124 in that amount of time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it goes to 211, but that's only because it's limited to 211.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's incredible. Wow. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I mean, I think that's just amazing that there's like that type of, we're able to engineer something that can do that kind of those kind of speeds easily.
I know.
So I actually saw, funny enough, if we're talking about top speeds, I mean, I saw a Bugatti Veyron there, which was really cool. First time I've ever seen one of those before. And so that was an amazing experience because, funny enough, it was parked next to a Pagani Huayra. And so for those who don't know, either most people have known about the Bugatti, but the Huayra is another hypercar that has an amazing specs. It's able to go to like insane amounts of speeds, and it's a really, really cool car. But the Huayra that was parked next to that Bugatti was actually had more crowd attention than the Bugatti did.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Which was really cool, especially since the owner had everything opened up, which if you've seen those cars, if everything's opened up, it looks amazing. Especially since that one was in like a glossy carbon fiber, which was really cool. It was pretty much, they just clear coated the carbon fiber that the car's already made out of. So it was really amazing to see that. So yeah, that was cool. And seeing a Bugatti in person was amazing because, I mean, you only see those in video games, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, that was an amazing experience in general. And I was very happy that I went. Throughout this week, I went to the Gaylord. They have a exhibit. It's like an ice exhibit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, during
like
this
right?
time of year. Yeah, it's a yearly thing, and it's kind of cool because it's pretty much just these giant blocks of ice that they carve into different forms and stuff like this. Like this year was a Rudolph theme, which was really cool. So they colored it and carved it. Yeah, so you had Rudolph in really amazing detail, and and it's like it pretty much went through like the whole Rudolph, the old, I think 60s Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer story deal.
Oh, okay.
And all those characters.
Yeah.
So
Rudolph's looking at those other reindeer like, look at me now, bitches.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in ice, bruh.
That's right. That.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really cool. It was freezing cold, just in case you wondered.
Yeah, well, I can imagine.
I mean, you do got to keep that ice cold. But yeah, no, that was a cool experience, and I've just kind of been also working on just some work stuff as well as working on improving myself. I've been trying to get my exercise up a little bit more than it has been.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's kind of a new change. I'm trying to do my workouts in the mornings, which is not the easiest things, but I don't like to go in the evening because there's a lot of people there. So I'm trying to get up early and go in the mornings, but that's a very hard thing to do.
I know. Well, especially with your commute and stuff, man. But yeah. No, that's good. You're trying to make some more gains, though.
Oh
You-
yeah,
we
man.
know how I feel about gains on this episode or this podcast.
Oh, I know. I
but,
know.
but that's how I do it. I mean, obviously, still working nights at this point in my life, but my what I try to do is wake up. Well, what I do is I wake up and immediately go work out, and it just sets the tone for the rest of my day. I love it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, it's great, man. That's awesome that you're doing that. How you like that so far?
Um, I could be one of the most optimistic people and say, "Oh man, it's great. I feel great. That's amazing."
Yeah.
I don't feel great or amazing. I just know I need to get through it, and then there's going to get to a point. I know I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, "All right, cool. This is fun." You know,
Yeah.
I will say I do feel a little bit more energetic after an hour or so after I've worked out.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, that's normal.
I feel like I kind of get more energy throughout the day, so that's kind of cool. But other than that, I'm still kind of tired.
Yeah, no, I totally understand you. There's always like a crash period, like right after you work out and then you eat.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, that's awesome, man. No, I'm glad. I mean, things are going well for both of us.
Mhm.
We're both doing a lot of things, so that's good. Like you said, self-improvement um is always the goal. And in many ways that's what you and I are trying to do. And one of those ways is with this podcast. So, you
Of
know,
course.
once again we're trying something new. And so yeah, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna jump right into our main topic, the main focus of the day. Talking about Kareem Hunt getting cut off the Kansas City Chiefs squad. So we will get right into that. We'll be right back. All right, man. So this is the main topic for this week. We're talking about Kareem Hunt, getting kicked off the Chiefs squad for something he did back in February. Now that is a key point that those against this decision to let Hunt go are pointing out. But I have a lot of strong feelings about this. So basically, for those who don't know, Kareem Hunt, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, the best team in the football league right now based off of record.
Mm.
Led the league in rushing yards last year, is a continued dominant force this year. And he was caught on video basically assaulting a girl. um
Yeah.
at a hotel, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like it was a hotel, if I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken.
don't know. These people were just checking out or something. I have no idea what was going on. But there was some sort of altercation. You can easily watch the video. Here's the thing. This was known about back in February. It was brought to the league's attention and brought to the Chiefs' attention when charges were initially filed. Now they were found not to have any legs to them. So that's another key thing that detractors say about this. But
Yeah.
but TMZ just yesterday, as of us recording this is the 1st of December. So just yesterday released a video of Kareem basically wanted to knock this girl's lights out. Um,
Oh yeah,
you know, you know, beat
he was about to get decked.
yeah, yeah, they were about to deck her halls for sure. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, so basically, from what they say, she and you can kind of see this in the video. She says something to a girl that Kareem Hunt was with. It was, rude in nature. Got him mad. He was trying to break the two of them up, and then the instigator, hits the girl that Kareem Hunt's with, and then he shoves her back, and then people have to start holding him back. Um, and he comes back multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah, no, he comes back multiple times and continues to get agitated at this whole situation while, it looks like words are being thrown still. And it's just not really a good situation.
my thing is this, like, I've been mad at a woman a time or two, you know. Um, but any man worth his stuff knows you can never lay a hand on the woman, you know.
Exactly.
And so to me, I don't care how mad you get. I don't care if she insults your mama. I don't care. You don't, you know, you don't hit a woman. And so what he ends up doing, he doesn't actually touch her. Um, Even though she ends up getting shoved on the ground, he came running up and went full on NFL player on one of his own friends, shoving that dude into her, and she goes
Hmm.
flying. Now, if that weren't bad enough, then he runs over and kicks her while she's on the ground, um,
Yeah.
and then runs off.
Yeah, that's kind of the nail in the coffin right there, to be honest.
Right.
I mean, I can understand that you can get heated in this situation. And as you said, you that never gives you the right to lay hands on a woman, um, let alone kick them. I mean, I don't know what was
Yeah.
said. I don't think there are any words that could be said to warrant that type of aggression, or at least the fact is that he continued to come back to the situation where he easily could have just left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like there aren't any words that could be said to make you like say, "Oh man, I have to continuously come back here and continuously to get agitated just because of whatever."
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's
Well,
kind of like, or go ahead.
I mean, I was gonna say, you and I talked about this earlier, like, and I have to point out, it's not like the guy just went Happy Gilmore on this girl with his foot, like he didn't,
Of course,
but it doesn't matter. It really,
he wasn't
not that
going
that,
for a home run.
yeah, no, he wasn't, but at the same time, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. He, and we live in this era, and I think there's a lot that has to be said about the era that we're in right now, the Me Too movement and women empowerment. And I think of course, there's a lot of good that's coming from that. Um, but it also leaves no room for even the slightest. If you want to call it a mistake, if you want to be generous enough to call it that, yeah, it doesn't even leave enough room for that. So here's a guy. This is my Chris Collinsworth impression.
Mm.
Here's a guy that leads the league in rushing, is on the top team in the NFL. At that time, he wasn't, but regardless, you have
Yeah,
so much going for you. You have to be able to turn around and take the higher ground and say, you know what, this is not worth it to me. This is not worth losing my career over. You know?
exactly. Exactly. It's not worth my time. It's not worth me not just losing my career, but also losing a little bit of my dignity and dignity. It's dignity for myself, as well as losing, in some ways, my trust from family members um, and friends and stuff like that. Because and by you doing those type of things, you're putting a label on yourself.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
yeah.
like it becomes a very big label and a very big stigma with yourself, and it becomes hard to expunge that. I mean, we can look back at say Chris Brown, right?
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
still hate, or everyone still has some sort of um animosity towards him because of him hitting Rihanna and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was way back in the day.
Oh yeah, and like
um
Ray Rice too. Ray Rice for the Baltimore
yeah,
Ravens. He decked his girl on the elevator, and
yeah,
even
exactly.
like Jay-Z and Beyonce's sister Solange getting in a fight on the elevator. Like people remember that stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It stays with you. No matter what type of circumstances that you're in. I mean, going back to say the Chris Brown thing, I mean, he was from reports during that, or from finding out more reports and understanding stuff like that, he was getting, Rihanna was really angry at him and like hitting him in a little bit and stuff like that, going crazy on him. And that can make you very flustered and very agitated, but it destroys your career.
Oh yeah,
And that's the same thing I believe that's what's going to happen. That's happening for him as well now. So,
yeah.
um, it's just something that you don't do.
You can't do it.
Yeah, you got to learn how to restrain yourself. Um, and if you can, walk away. Like
Oh yeah.
just walk away, because it's not, as we've said before, I mean, it's not worth you losing almost everything.
No, it's not. It's not. And like, um, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this all happened in one day. This video came out, which how TMZ got their hands on it and why they chose now to release it, I have no idea. But
Yeah.
that is TMZ. TMZ gonna TMZ, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So at the end of the day, the proof is out there now. And so in actually just a few short hours, the video came out. NFL suspended Kareem Hunt because it was obvious that it was Kareem Hunt in this video. There was no doubt.
Of course. Of
And
course. Yeah, you could
yeah.
easily tell.
Oh yeah. And then just a couple hours after that, the Chiefs cut him. And at first I raised my eyebrow. I said, okay, wait. Are you guys gonna live in that moment too where simply the accusation is enough to fire someone? And then I saw the video. That's A. Um, I think it probably raised a question mark on me because I thought, well, there have been plenty of NFL players out there that have done worse, and they still had the job. You know,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
and I'm not saying that makes it right. I'm just saying that's the truth. And so, but then I saw the video. But on top of that, I think what the Chiefs organization actually had a problem with is that when they interviewed Kareem about the incident, he flat out lied to them. I don't know the details of how he lied or what all he said, but it was not at all truthful to what the video showed. So that was it.
That,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
it becomes the problem there.
yeah, I know.
The dishonesty of that whole situation is what probably was the full nail in the coffin there.
Yeah. So this is my last point I wanted to make about it is that there was, there are obviously people out there that are upset that the Chiefs made this decision. Um, and I know at least one person that is, and to them I say, why? Why? I think we hold athletes. Well, we don't hold them to a higher standard. Quite the opposite, actually. We hold them to a lower standard and in higher favor than then we should. Then they're worth, and that's not to talk trash on athletes. I'm just saying, let's say Mark Zuckerberg had been caught on camera doing this to a girl. We'd want him out of the CEO of Facebook, because here's the thing, that reflects badly on Facebook, right? Let's say,
Yeah.
let's say he was Kareem Hunt in this situation. That would reflect badly on Facebook. Well, a thing I learned a long time ago, which justifies the millions of dollars athletes make, and so on and so forth, is that these teams are not teams. They're businesses, they're organizations, and so we've allowed this to happen as viewers and as fans, paying the money for cable to watch ESPN and paying money for the tickets and all that stuff. That has raised millions of dollars for these businesses, and therefore they pay each player what they feel that they are worth based off the money they contribute to the income to the business, right?
Exactly.
And so anyway, that's my long way of saying Kareem Hunt would reflect badly on the Chiefs organization. Um,
Yeah.
if they continued to allow him to play, he would be representing them, and he would be marked as a guy who kicked a girl and attacked a girl on camera, and
Exactly.
that's unacceptable. So to me,
No.
I do want to hear your take on this, but to me, that completely justifies the entire reason they would make this move.
No, I mean, I completely agree with you. I mean, it also, if they didn't fire him, it would be also saying that they're okay with it. They're okay with him kicking a girl, and they're okay with it. In the broader sense, it's because you need to show examples for people, like to show people like, hey, it's not okay to do this.
Right. Yes.
If they continue to keep him, then they're saying to everyone, hey, it's okay if you're a football player and you kick a girl. It's okay if you assault a girl. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's not okay.
No.
I mean, that's not something that we are going to allow. So, of course, that is why he needed to leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know. I've seen my fair share of people joking on social media saying, well, at least he can find a spot in the Dallas Cowboys team. Right? Man, I'll tell you what though, if any of those players that have played for the Cowboys in recent memory that have been accused of such and so forth, if there was evidence like what there was evidence of on Kareem Hunt, Jerry Jones would kick their butt out too, man. I can promise you that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I mean,
it's not a biased thing. It's not a period piece, so to speak. It's none of that. It's just the way that it is. So it's really interesting. Obviously, it's grabbed a lot of people's attention, and I think it's cool that people are paying so much attention to the Chiefs in the first place. I mean, it's good for them. Of course, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Cowboys fan. That will never change. So, but it is cool to see the Chiefs doing well. But yeah, man, Kareem Hunt had a career going for him. Could have been a Hall of Fame.
did.
And now it is
He had the
probably
potential.
over. Oh yeah. It is, and it's probably over now,
I mean, I'm pretty darn sure it is, to be honest. It's a sad thing. Especially, I'll also just come from this angle as well. It's a problem too. As a black male, you have to be a little bit. You have to uh, present yourself in a different standard than a lot of other people, and this isn't a good stigma. If anything, it feeds into the stereotype that we tend to get a lot.
That's a good perspective.
And it's not something that you want publicized, because if anything, this just makes us look bad.
Yeah.
because there are a lot of amazing black guys out here that don't do anything like that.
Right, like Denison Rice.
But yeah, exactly. But I mean, so as a black male, it's not a good look for us. We want to. It's hard, especially when you're trying to do your best. You're trying to make sure that you put the best foot forward, and then you get stories like these that come out, and it feels almost like you're losing some ground. But I think as time goes on, things will get better. Um, and if anything, this also still is a good president as well. It's also showing like, hey, whether you're black or white or whoever, and you're doing some sort of domestic violence or assaulting a woman or anything like that, it's not okay.
Yeah.
And it's showing like not just the NFL, but as the Rams organization, that they're not okay with it and they're not complicit with it.
Right.
And I think that will in turn help move the needle a little bit farther in making sure that people are able to be safe, and they're also setting good examples for everyone else to make sure that we don't get into these situations ever again.
That's right. Yeah. Be the role model that you are called to be as a professional athlete.
Exactly.
So, yeah, man. Well, I think we had a good discussion on that. So we're going to jump right over now to our final topic. But we're going to take a quick break real quick, and we'll come right back with that. All right, the last thing we're talking about today. We're both fans of movies, and I've always thought I was a fan of movies. You always go ahead and see them before I ever could. Like, you always see movies the day they come out, bro.
That's not true.
Oh man, how many times I'm like, oh man, it's like day 3, it's been out. I really want to go see that movie. Oh yeah, I already saw that with Tyler, bro. What?
Oh my gosh. Nah, bro. It's not like that. It's like, it's like the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's like 7 days. But anyway, so yeah, it's no secret that Hollywood's I'm not going to say they've run out of ideas. I'll get to this more in a second. I'm going to say that they just don't want to try new ideas. But the wide
see that.
Yeah, but the wide perception is they've run out of ideas. And the thing that made me want to talk about that is this. The Lion King trailer aired the other day on Thursday Night Football, I believe. And you can tell I've been watching a lot of football lately.
Oh yeah.
But it looks good. I think the cast will be awesome. I have nothing against it. But as far as what's being done as a whole, like the next year, right? Like there's going to be the Lion King, a remake, an Aladdin remake. They're both live action, but they're not actually because they're mostly CGI, which it's really weird. So, Aladdin remake. Both of them have good casts. Toy Story 4, which will be cool. And then a Mary Poppins remake. And
that Mary Poppins looks pretty poppin', man.
You know what? Mary Poppins does look poppin'. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not saying these look bad. But one of those I will want to go to the movie theater to see, and that's Toy Story. Just because, I've literally grown up with that. The third one, they definitely left you on a cliffhanger. Like there had to be a fourth one,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I will watch The Lion King. I might watch Aladdin. I probably will not see Mary Poppins. And that, out of all these movies, probably has the best cast of all of them. This new one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and like a quick side note. Oh gosh, who was the woman that played the first Mary Poppins?
Gosh darn it! I know who exactly you're talking about, but I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Um.
I think I got this real quick. Julie Andrews. Um,
Yes.
so Julie Andrews, they actually asked her to cameo in this new Mary Poppins, right? And
Oh, really?
she turned them down. And instead is having a cameo in the new Aquaman movie, which
Huh?
yeah, the new Aquaman movie, which gets released on the same day as Mary Poppins.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
kind of
But
okay.
do you think she knew that though? Like when she filmed her cameo, do you really think she knew that? Because there's so many things that go into saying a release date and all that kind of stuff.
No, I mean, I don't think she knew that, to be honest. I don't. But I do think it's a little interesting, though, that she decided to do a cameo for, or, be in the Aquaman movie rather than the Disney one,
Yeah.
especially since that, I feel like that's a far bigger role, especially knowing how many people who love Mary Poppins, a
Oh
lot of
no,
people would have really really would have loved to see her in that movie.
that is true. That is true. But I found it interesting as well because like she chose a superhero movie um instead, which for people who complain about the lack of creativity in Hollywood, their prime example are always the superhero movies. Now I love the superhero movies and I think that within themselves they continue to be creative as far as superhero movies go. I'm
Oh, for
always,
sure.
yeah, I'm super entertained by them. But anyway, I just wanted to get your thought on that and how you feel about these like movies coming out.
Um, so I have a little bit of a mixed bag. I think for me, it's if they're able to do a fateful reenactment of the animated versions of those movies or just the older versions of those movies, then I'm okay with it. Um, it's just when they do a poor job, uh, gets me a little it makes me feel a certain type of way. Like I thought they did a
Yeah.
really good job with the Jungle Book. I thought
Do
that
you?
was. I do. Yes, a lot of it was CG. Most of it was CG. But uh, I actually liked that movie. I thought that the cast was really good for that one, and I also thought the way that they used the story plot was really good. I just don't thought the overall atmosphere of it was nice. I enjoyed that. Um,
Huh.
so I'm not too I'm not too, opposed to seeing something like Aladdin or Lion King. Aladdin for sure is
Yeah.
one of those where I think would be really cool in general. Lion King, I'm a little on the fence with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have these things aside from whether there's creativity or whether there's not. There's definitely a nostalgia factor. Um, and like the Jungle Book for me, like I was bummed there was no bare necessities. Simple bare necessities. Like none of that stuff. It was very serious, kind of a darker tone.
Yeah.
Um, and so, and then when it comes to Aladdin, the genie is Will Smith, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
But the real genie is Robin Williams.
Oh, of course. Of course.
you know, and so like, and obviously you can't replicate that. Now, one thing that I do like about the Lion King, and I think that a lot of people like about the Lion King, is the fact that Mufasa is still voiced by James Earl
Yeah,
Jones.
man. He's stuck in there waiting for us.
I know
He's
he's
like,
like
I
a
know what you
national
people want.
treasure.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he is like a national treasure, man. So I think, yeah, like that stuff is cool. But my question is more or less like, is there a lack of creativity in Hollywood, or is there just a lack of wanting to try new things? Because we continue to go see these movies, and the next generation is kind of feeding that. The group just below us in age, because they didn't grow up with a lot of this stuff,
No,
you
they
know,
did.
and so technology has changed so much since the time that those movies came out. Yeah, you can get them on DVD, but like I owned all those movies on VHS, you know, so
Oh, I did too.
um yeah. So anyway, I think it's like my personal opinion of this, and this goes for music as well. We kind of talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we talked about Greta Van Fleet, and their music sounding like Led Zeppelin. I actually enjoy them because someone's taking a risk on them because they're outside of the modern cultural norm, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, you have the same artist singing the same type of songs. Well, now you got the same movies with the same type of plots or just remakes, you know. And that's true for TV too. Not even remakes, but reboots like Roseanne, which we all know how that went. But Will and Grace and um Murphy Brown, which I actually enjoy. but but yeah, I mean, you know, there's I to me it's the production companies uh, I can't see I gotta dive in on this. So there's so many different ways for people to be entertained. Um and we obviously we talk about YouTube a lot and all that kind of stuff. And then there's Netflix and Amazon Prime. These production companies literally can't afford to take risks on things that may flop. And so they stick with just what they know will work. That's my personal opinion on it.
I think in some ways, yes, but with Disney, no. Disney has the capital to be able to go outside of the norm. They have the
Yeah.
ability and the capital to um, be different because it's okay. I mean, Disney's an insanely large organization, and especially for their animated division or anything like that. If they were to make any sort of new content or movie, it's perfect for them because guess what? You get merchandise sales, you get everything else that comes with that new IP, that new story or whatever. I mean, you can just think back to some of the last princess movies or whatever like that. They became extremely successful because of of Disney's their presence as well as they have really good story writers and stuff like that. So they took a risk with adding some of these newer franchises to to the multitude of IPs that they have. So
Yeah.
I don't feel like Disney has to be afraid of taking risks.
Yeah. Probably not. That is a good point. But even like so Disney owns Pixar, yeah?
Yes.
Um yeah, and so Pixar's Wreck-It Ralph, the new Wreck-It Ralph movie,
Mm-hmm.
was basically them doing product placement with all of their own stuff, right? Because Ralph goes onto the internet and then he sees all these cool things there. And they basically have, you know, they got Star Wars and all the princesses and all from all the Disney movies are in there. Um, and so many other things. And I think like it's a cool theory. Like I actually like the idea is pretty cool, but at the same time, it's just a different way of doing the same thing, and that's sticking to what works, what you already know is safe. You know what I mean?
True.
Um, yeah. And I even went to see a movie that to this day still freaks me out just because I thought it'd be original, you know? And it was, but I mean, it was. And my brother brought it up the other day. Like it was called Upgrade, you know, and it was like this guy is in the near future, say 20 years down the road, and you know he loses his ability to walk, and then this through a series of events, he gets talked into allowing this AI chip into his vertebrae to help him get the ability to walk. And by the end of the movie, you find out this AI has wanted to be a human the entire time. It literally takes over him and becomes him.
Okay,
And
so this isn't good for you. You don't like
no,
stuff like this.
I do not. You are right. I do not like stuff like this. It freaked me out. Yeah, I mean, it genuinely freaked me out for like a couple of solid hours. I was like, "What did I just watch?" Um. So yeah, I mean, but I went and saw that because I was like, "Hey, this looks unique and original." So I wanted to give it a shot, and like I said, it was unique, it was original, but it was not necessarily good. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. I'll say smaller companies, so smaller production companies, yes, it's hard for them to be able to branch out. But if we're going to talk specifically with Disney, they can branch out. I think it's lazy of them to be able to do these reboots. Not saying that I don't enjoy them, but I do think it is lazy for them to do these type of reboots. They can go
Right.
with something different, like the movie that upgrade or whatever like that. They can do something strange like that because they have the money to. Um, and I think if we can get big industries, big production companies like Disney or whatever like that, or like Paramount or any of these really, really big ones, to be able to launch, or Universal, to be able to launch like new IPs out in the wild, instead of sticking with the safe and easy route, I think that will um, uh, garnish, or that will usher in like a new era of new types of movies. Because I do feel like we have gotten a little bit into the repetitive realm right now,
Yeah. Oh
lately,
yeah.
of movies that have been like a bunch of sequels, or it's a bunch of a bunch of stuff that we're familiar with. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of the big start of this was with the whole superhero movies. Yes, we're getting new storylines in each of those, but at the same time, at its core, it's just another sequel of something that we've already watched before instead of
Yeah.
something completely new. So,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Well, and there. So like I remember because I'm a huge Mission Impossible fan. I love it so much, and I watched it when it came out, the new one. But I also went back and rewatched all the old ones. Um, and when some people who weren't quite in the know were like, "Really, they're making another one?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they had the same mindset. Well, why can't Hollywood come up with new stuff? Well, it's not really the same for movies like Mission Impossible. There are movies out there that have sequels or are a series of movies that have a genuine scope and storyline and progression, and it makes it enjoyable to watch.
hmm
One thing I think of is like the Hunger Games. Um, I enjoyed those movies when they came out because Jennifer Lawrence, but also because the story was pretty decent. The first one was great. The second one did not need to exist, and the third one did not need to be broken into two parts. And they
no.
milked that thing for all it was worth.
Oh, of course, of course. After Harry Potter, they kind of decided, oh, this is the perfect thing for us to do. And so everyone during that era did a three-parter.
You know what? That is the perfect example. That is a lot of where this started. Is Harry Potter. I mean, of course, there was Star Wars and Back to the Future and Indiana Jones and all that. But Harry Potter is a perfect example of
hmm
of where this modern era of all these sequels start, and Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of led the way on that as well.
Very true.
Um, and so like big blockbusters coming out next year. Those 4 Disney movies. There's going to be a spinoff of The Rock's character from Fast and Furious. They're going to have like his origin story.
Yeah, I've heard
um,
that one.
yeah, they're going to have an origin story of Bumblebee from Transformers.
Yeah.
Eventually, like I want to see something new. It doesn't have to be weird or quirky. you know, I
Yeah,
just
because there
want
are some new
something new.
ones out there. They're a little strange.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you know what? And like, there's so many stories to be told too. Like, Hugh Jackman just had a movie come out about uh the Democrat candidate facing George H.W. Bush in 1988.
Oh, I think I remember hearing about that a little bit.
Yeah, which Bush just passed. So rest in peace to him. But
Yeah.
but yeah, and you know, I brought this up to my dad. He couldn't even remember the guy's name. You know, and so there are so many stories like that that we don't really know or aren't fully aware of and need to be told. I think there's just so many opportunities out there.
Oh, I think so. I completely agree.
Yeah. But this is what happens when John Grisham and Tom Clancy stop writing as many novels so people can't steal them and make movies off of them.
I know. It's sad.
Yeah. So
we don't get good movie ideas anymore.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, hopefully I'll turn around soon. Anyway, you know, we tried something new today. I honestly don't know. I won't know until I edit this down as to if we saved any time or not.
Yeah, we'll see.
But the fact of the matter is, even though this seems congruent in our timeline, we actually haven't talked for a while. We haven't caught up for a while, and so that's what this is all about. It's called the catch up. You know, we enjoy doing it. We enjoy getting to share it with you. But in the meantime, if you liked this format, we're going to continue to build it and tighten it up. You know, like, comment, leave us some feedback. We promise you please do, because there are people that have, and you know, we got some good ratings, and we have like one not so good rating, but we don't know why we got that not so good rating. We'd like to know why, what we can do to improve. So doesn't mean it doesn't mean you have to give us a negative rating either. But
constructive criticism is helpful.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, leave us all of that, and we promise the Facebook page is coming. It is in the works. We will have it.
We didn't forget about it.
Yeah, we did not forget. So we will have that soon. But anyway, in the meantime, thank you for listening, and this has been the Catch Up.